wrestling fans, and welcome to Wrestling Gab. It is Friday. That means it's time for Friday Night Smackdown. That's Delitha. She's not here right now. I'm Travis. And they are right now just showing highlights to WrestleMania, which we already kind of seen on Monday if you guys were with us. And now it is time for more highlights, I guess they're going to do. But we do have Triple H talking to us tonight with another important message. So we've had important messages on every show this week. We had Triple H show up and say nothing's going to change on Monday. And then Twitter blew up because things changed. And then we got Tony Khan announcing that they're doing an all-in show on the 27th of August in England at Wembley Stadium, which is very bold. It's very, very cool. Instead of like the O2 Arena or something, which they could have done. And it's very brash. I like it. Anyways, and now tonight we got Triple H telling us something. And I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be, other than maybe the same message, but we're not 100% sure. So anyways, right now we got Robert in there. We got Chris in there. We got Lady in there. Lady Kinsey. Harley's in here. Thanks you for joining us. Marshmallow. Walter. Jaco. Chris is in here. Sophie's in here. And Justin Martinez. She will be in here in a few minutes. That'll help a little bit. But now the show's actually started. And I will read your comments as well. I just haven't started it because I want to see if they're going to start it out with Triple H. So much waiting, I guess. So Robert says, hey, and then Chris Akane says, Travis and D, hey, what's up? And then Lady Kids says, hey, they're starting out with Sheamus. So they are not going to do anything with Triple H right out of the gate. So maybe it's not that important. And then Harley says, happy Friday, everybody. Did you guys make it through the week? And then Marshmallow said, Brock Lesnar take Cody Rhodes to Suplex City. Yeah, he's definitely got taken to Suplex City. And he's probably got a few more stops along the way. Whatever that match is going to happen. Is it going to happen in Saudi Arabia? Is it going to happen at SummerSlam? Is it going to happen at the next pay-per-view in Puerto Rico? Are they trying to sell tickets to that Puerto Rico show? It's definitely going to be crazy. They're talking about so Triple H is here, and he is going to talk to us. We got Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso tonight. We're going to see how the Uso Penitentiary handles their adversity, would be the word. Would be a good word for it. Walter says, hey, Travis and Daphne. And then Marshmallow says, Braun Strowman will be challenging Roman Reigns. Oh, I did not know that. That should be cool. I like the booking. Is this that 6-man tag match? I think I read something about a 6-man tag match. Anyways, here comes Imperium. So it's the Brawlin' Brutes and Sheamus versus Imperium. We're going to have to see how things work out because I'm pretty sure Vince is running this show too. So at least that's what I've heard, is that he's there and he has final say. So are they doing this to set up a future match? Sheamus versus Gunther right here? Or Gunther? Whatever they call him. I swear they call him something different every week. Can we just call him Walter? Can't mess that one up. Gunther. Guthentight. Like when you tighten a bolt, they call it good and tight. Gunter. Yeah, because Neanderthal is a German word, and it's Neanderthal because they don't pronounce the H. Gunter. Gunther. Well, anyways, it's underway. We got the Brawling Brutes in there right now. What was this guy's name? Butch. I was trying to think of his old NXT name. He had one. God damn it. Pete Dunne.
Oh, he's still Pete Dunne. He's just Pete Dunne.
Now Ridge Holland's up in there, and he's going up against Da Vinci, or Gavinci, or if he has a secret name too. I figured he probably won't be here long enough for me to remember his name. So when he's in AEW in a few months, I'll be like, hey, that was the guy that was in... You remember that guy? If he even signs with them, because he didn't do this last time he was let go. Ludwig Kaiser. I like Ludwig. He's got a future. He could be an Intercontinental title holder one day. Both of them are long and lengthy now. It's funny because Walter, or Gunther, wasn't that way before.
Yeah, he was a fat guy.
He was just a big old dude.
Right.
Now he's in shape, but it makes you wonder what he's going to look like when he's like 50. If he's going to stay that way or if he's going to go back to the way he was.
I don't know.
Did he like food? Oh! Trying to break his arm. Butch is doing the joint manipulation.
Did you say hi to people?
I did, a little bit.
Do you know where you stopped?
I could tell you where I stopped reading. It was like the 5th comment. It was after Braun Strowman will challenge Roman Reigns one.
Okay.
But I said hi to everybody. I went through them.
Oh, like the rest of them?
I don't know. I don't know how far there is. I just scrolled up.
Oh. Anyways, if Travis says hi to you, hi, Greg John, William Purdy, Justin Martinez, Walter, of course, Jaco, Chris Akane's with us. Robert Warney is out there. Lady Kinsey was with us for a minute. Mushmallow is in the chat. And it's hard to get all of you because everybody's name is red, and red on black is a terrible combination. Greg and John in the chat. Vindicator's with us. Hey guys, how's it going? How's everybody's Friday going? Justin wanted to know who was kicking off SmackDown.
That's Sheamus and Walter.
Sheamus's group and Walter's group, or Gunter's group. Chris said, this is like the night after Vince screwed Brett, Vince screwed Paul, Vince back in charge, baby, mustache and all. Hill, Brock at his side, ready to destroy anyone's push. Interesting. Sophie's in the chat, though, says, hi, it is looking like AEW All In and Out are going to take place a week apart.
So it's been confirmed? Like, I've still been looking for it to be confirmed that they're doing All In and All Out.
Right. So, basically, that's probably just hearsay stuff from the Twitter sphere or whatever.
Right.
So I'm guessing it's probably not complete.
Because when I go to anything that's official, I do not see it.
Yeah. So, Sophie, is that just stuff you're just kind of hearing on the internet, not from an official source like AEW themselves?
Or any wrestler on their card?
Chris said Punk versus Omega Wembley main event. Justin says, who is... Oh, read that one. Greg said, hi. Mark Fletcher says, the Brawling Brutes for the win. Sophie says, where's your lovely wife, D? Getting ready. Hopefully this show is a lot better than what we got on Monday. Roman isn't scheduled for Backlash, but he is scheduled for future pay-per-views. Daz is in the chat. Hey, Daz says, yo, how are you doing today? Good. Says, hey, Greg, how are you today, my friend? Marshmallow says, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Chris says, I guess Gunther will be rocking the Killer Kowalski ring gear going forward.
It looks like it.
Marshmallow says, Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn SummerSlam. Jaco says, good morning. Chris says, Vinci used to be called Fabian Ackner, and Ludwig used to be called Marcel Barthel. Barthel? Nice.
Huh.
Vindicator says, what's happening, good people? How's the start to the weekend treating you? Late.
Fantastic. We got some UFC tomorrow.
Sophie says, hopefully Triple H announcement isn't the same thing as we got this past Monday. Chris says, Fat Walter used to be intimidating, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Sophie,
absolutely.
Sophie said, with AEW All In, they are saying it is a special event, not a pay-per-view. Yeah, but people still have to pay for it, right? So if it's a special event, that's fantastic. But it's still a pay-per-view, so people in the States will have to pay to view it. Hence pay-per-view. Vinegar says, oh, and Travis, I wondered if you thought about watching Rampage or Battle of the Belts tonight. I'll watch Rampage since it's rumored to be live, but skipping B.O.B. because it's nothing but a jobber fest. Battle of the Belts.
Battle of the Belts. I didn't even know it was on. That and I think the NWA is having a pay-per-view tonight also.
That sounds stupid. Mushmouth says Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn tonight. So he says one of the AEW wrestlers mentioned AEW All Out was to take place a week after All In.
Do you remember the Funkadactyls and the Funkasaurus?
Kinda. Yeah.
Naomi was one of them.
Yeah.
Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Brodus is his name.
Right.
He's their world champion. He's wrestling tonight.
That's weird.
I don't know who he's wrestling, but.
Vindicator says SmackDown won't have anything fresh tonight either, which is, of course, not a surprise. Harley is in the chat, says been doing a lot of cleaning today, getting ready to move into a new room at my house. Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
So he says they're saying SummerSlam is going to be WWE versus WWE, which doesn't make sense. Abdullah is in the chat. Hey, hello, Abdullah. Nice to see you tonight. Thanks for coming back and joining us. It's Travis Vandella. Yeah, that's a good name for me. Chris says, yeah, Battle of the Belts is a jobber fest tonight. Absolutely pointless. Before some matches were credible. Now it's even worse than a house show. Yeah, well, it seems to be the norm.
And they're doing it tonight?
It sounds like it. Yeah, the Battle of the Belts is...
would they do it on a Friday?
Tonight. Or maybe it's... No. Tonight. Yeah, it's tonight. Ben says Rampage or Battle of the Belts tonight. So, tonight.
So it's a 2-hour show tonight then?
Wow, they're dumb. Chris says it's after Rampage. So there you go. Yeah.
Oh my lord. Is it also pre-recorded? No, Rampage is live, he said.
Abdullah says, are you both married? Yep. To the Lord. Just kidding.
Alabama Slammer.
We're a unit.
Ludwig.
Sophie says, now with both WWE and AEW having a pay-per-view in the UK, a lot of fans are fighting which promotion is better. Sophie, that's nothing new. They do it all the time. Dad says, do you think the announcement is about the draft?
Maybe, would be exciting if they did that.
Chris says it's after Rampage. Sophie says even AEW doesn't even care since they don't hype Battle of the Belts. They announce it like a day before.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, I need to know a month out.
Right?
They just tell you on Wednesday after the show. They're like, hey, by the way, there's going to be another show if you want to come.
Vindicator's like Pete Dunne and his feminine physique just ravaged Gunther fingers.
Yeah, I saw
How
that.
wrestlers continue to fight after one of their primary weapons is taken away. Yeah, their fingers. They so need them. I don't know what they're going to need them for. Oh,
That's a
Bush
weird
saved
pin.
him.
Oh, it's a pretty cool little move. You got him in. I got it on the Fire Stick, so it's way faster.
Oh.
So there's not like a big old delay.
Right.
Ridge is going to break that back.
Rimshaw Salim is in the chat. Says, hi. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sophie says AEW only cares about Dynamite, it seems. It's their main only show, Sophie. What do you expect? I mean, it's their only show that they have that's during a prime time spot.
There it is. This is what we wanted to see. Sheamus in there. Start beating each other up again. You've had a week off.
Rimshaw says, are you siblings? No, we're not. Sophie says budget cuts are incoming. Are they, though? I feel like that's not a thing once they have sold the company in WWE, right?
You know, what I was listening, I think it's coming. And the reason I think it's coming is Vince is still running it, and they're trying to get more value. And their WWE's never been more valuable. They made like $1 billion in the last couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Each year, which is unheard of. Like for a company to make $1 billion profit.
Right.
And then this year they aren't making the same profit as they did last year. It's because they brought back a whole bunch of superstars. And I don't know what kind of contracts they have.
You said that they aren't making?
Nowhere near what they did last year or the year before. But the company that bought them / merged with them, whatever you want to call that. I mean, the guy was basically saying, yeah, I bought it. And then Vince was using different words.
Mm-hmm.
Because Vince is still basically running it. Now he's definitely running it because it's his job title.
Right.
But I guess a lot of the wrestlers are on the wait and see to see what's going to happen.
Of course.
I just wonder how long it's going to be over under till Triple H resigns. 6 months? Or will he not? Will
So
he
the
stick
thing
around?
that I don't understand is great. I understand like getting rid of some people and stuff like that, but what I don't understand is why he isn't looking at the response that he's getting for certain things that H is doing that make it better.
Right.
And why he is so against, is it because it's not his idea? I mean, I get it. Really what it comes down to is he's old. Like, he is so stuck in this weird, old, I'm not changing way at this point.
2 and 3.
And
Sheamus pins him.
And he's got to have somebody slap him in the face and hold him accountable for the fact that, hey, you can't do this.
Right. Yeah, an 80-year-old should not be in charge of creative. And he can have final say as long as it's like, hey, it's 3-1 or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like, needs to be more people involved in. And I'm not saying turn him down at every turn, because Vince does have ideas that do pay off. But the fact that if they don't pay off, like, that night, he cuts it. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's not paying off how he wants it to, he's done. He ends it. It's done.
I like Triple H for the idea of having a mid-card. He brings relevance to the middle.
Right.
Instead of just having a bottom and a top.
Mm-hmm.
Which Vince has a bottom and a top. He has, like, top 5 guys, and everybody else, they're going to run through like it's nothing. Match length, I like what Triple H does. I just don't like the people that he likes.
Yeah.
And so that's where I like Vince, is because at least Vince puts in better talent.
Yeah. That can go somewhere.
Right.
Or can hold that middle and not make it look pathetic.
Right. And like I said, every roster needs the one guy that's the underdog. That's why Johnny Gargano would work on the main roster. If the main roster was a bunch of giants, it works. You want your David versus Goliath.
Right.
But you don't want it every week.
No. Vindicator says, if Battle of the Belts was done correctly as a 2-hour show to replace Rampage for the night, and it was champions versus champions, people would definitely care about it.
Yeah. And then did it on Saturday. Friday nights are just, it's a dumb night to have wrestling. Excuse me for being negative, but that's it. It's dumb. Saturday afternoon, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. It's all good. Friday night, Saturday night, terrible. And Saturday nights, especially this Saturday, you'd be competing against the UFC anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I don't understand why they do it either, but they do, so. Chris says, I wish WWE would let Gunther and Balor and even Nakamura go to AEW UK event, because it's all in every promotion. It should be the only time of year where they can let WWE stars go to another promotion.
Yeah, not happening.
No, not ever going to happen.
They're not going to raise somebody else's ticket sales so their numbers look better.
Yeah.
Because that's all that would do.
Yep. Sophie says, thanks to Vince being back, that made Jay White decide to go to AEW instead. Was this from his lips? Did he say it himself?
That's a fact is Jay White is just another wrestler. And anybody that's a fan out there, if you want to have a debate with me about it, it's fine, we can. But if you want to listen to what I'm trying to say, then we don't have to debate. The numbers say the story. CM Punk is the only guy still to this moment that has moved that needle.
That came back. And
that's it. They were 850,000 week after week after week. Sometimes they go up to 1 million. With Punk's on, it's 1 million. It's guaranteed 1 million. Jay White showed up, their ratings went down. It was like 7 or 877 when it started. They saw Jay White and they actually went down. It was like 850 by the end of the show or something. Now, granted, they did it in the first episode, or, you know, the first thing going on, and then cut it.
Right.
But we've seen it with Paige, nothing. I mean, I kind of want to see if Sasha Banks is a needle mover. It would be interesting to see if Monet could show up, Mercedes, and do something, and, you know, and move that needle. Even 20,000. I mean, you think that, because 20,000 more people
just makes it up to 1 million.
Big.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, they need 200,000 growth every week, and to do that, you need a real needle move. And by the way, if anybody even wants to try to accuse me of being a Punk fan, you can go back through my whole history. Never been a big Punk fan, but he moves needles,
Right.
and I will give him that. And
Stating facts doesn't necessarily mean you're a fan.
right,
It's just facts.
yeah, he moves the needle. Like when he was there, people showed up and they watched.
Just to even hate him, they
And,
watched.
right, and if he shows back up, they're going to go well over 1 million. And the reason is because the feuds that the people he's going to be feuding with, is important because it's real. He's going to be feuding against the Bucks. He's going to be feuding against Kenny Omega, and good names, yes. But what's more important than that is that they had real life heat, and that's big, big. Oh, look, more of this.
More what happened at WrestleMania or on Raw,
This is
actually.
on Raw, yeah.
Chris says, plus it wouldn't be AEW, it's a pay-per-view. It can easily be a one-off match. Hassan says, hi there, guys. Hey, Hassan, good to see you tonight.
Hey,
So
good to see
Sophie
ya.
says, when they first announced Battle of the Belts, it seemed like it was going to be like a special pay-per-view. Hassan says, happy Good Friday. Yes, it is Good Friday.
It is Good Friday.
Chris says, Vince just left in order to get a payout. This Endeavor group just hired Vince back to run it, and Vince, an investor, don't care about creative. Rimshaw says, can I get $1 billion? Right? Can't we all?
$1
Sophie says,
billion.
Vince has always been jealous of Triple H because of how Triple H handled NXT.
No.
Sophie, no.
NXT
no.
was a bomb. Like it was only getting about 700,000. I think it's getting closer to that number again,
Right?
but it's still below 700,000. I mean, he went head to head with AEW and could not get 1 million on NXT. I don't know if they ever did. Not
I
once.
have no idea how their views were on it, really. I don't know the history of their views. Rimshaw says, who's controlling WWE now, Vince or H? Endeavor.
It's definitely Endeavor owns it, and maybe one of their chairmen.
Sophie says Vince also made Gunther go back to NXT after that July 4th segment with R-Truth. Mushmill says Seth Rollins will be Mr. Money in the Bank this year. Yeah. Sophie says Seth Rollins.
Oh, that's a good pick. That's a hell of a pick.
Sophie says Night 1 of Mania felt like an NXT takeover, while Night 2 felt like a Vince-led show. Rimshaw says, honestly, Triple H made WWE a cartoon show. Sophie, I agree. Sophie says, and plus WWE has a pay-per-view in London like a month and a half before AEW All In.
They do.
Harley in the chat says, was Triple H his final decision or Vince McMahon's final decision for the Usos?
It's all Vince at this point. I don't know if Triple H has much of a say. I mean, he's going to write it, but we're starting to see the rewrites, which pauses the show and changes it live. Seth Rollins was in the ring, and there's fans, so we know this happened. A lady came down to the ring, and then he came over. This was during a break, and she basically waved him out, so he had to leave. So he was cut way short. Like, so that would have been a promo or whatever. I don't know what Seth would talk about, but we'll never know.
Right. So he says Chris says, yep, Jay White wrestled for other promotions like Impact, didn't move the needle, even appearance on AEW at Forbidden Door, nothing, and this time his debut this week was like nothing, like a nobody. And that's how it is, right? I mean, just because he has like certain fans and has like a fan base doesn't mean that fan base is going to move the views on whatever promotion he's on, because he's just not that type of dude.
He's British, and the British fans
guy.
love him, and the British fans are all over social media, and I respect them. I love the British fans. I have no problem with them. They just they don't like what American fans like.
Right? Speak of the devil of
Question mark?
English fans, Ravi's in the chat. Ew.
Ravi showed up.
Just kidding. Hey, Ravi, good to see you tonight. It says, oi, oi, just out and about. Oh,
My
my
thing
God,
is,
what are you doing? Having
Is there
fun.
millions of English fans? And if there is, obviously they're going to sell out both AEW and WWE. And then, do they stay up? Is there 1 million people on that tiny island that watch wrestling at 1 o'clock in the morning?
I don't know. So it says Brock versus Cody was a feud that was planned a month ago before Vince came back. Chris says, actually, it was planned a long time ago. Chris says either Punk versus Omega Wembley main event or Punk and FTR versus Elite Blood and Guts on Wembley. Sophie says, I'm at the WWE Network version of NXT. Chris says, LOL, NXT has sexy Tiffany Stratton. That's keeping rating afloat. LA Knight Money in the Bank this year from Chris.
You know, not only Tiffany Stratton, but now they have Cora Jade back, and she's thicker. She put on some weight. So that's what, at least that's what everybody's talking about. I mean, I saw it also, but I didn't mention it. But the whole Twittersphere was talking about her weight.
Like, oh my God, she doesn't look like a 12-year-old child anymore. Is that what they're trying to say? Sickos. Somebody says Seth seemed upset in that video. Hopefully Brock gives us a reason why he turned on Cody. That makes sense. Walter says, good SmackDown tonight, but at 9:20 my time, I'm leaving, but I'll be here Monday for Raw. I'm still in the chat. Good deal, my man.
Is Sola not talking to his brother? Jimmy's not here. By himself. He can't beat Sammy by himself.
No, he can't.
He's a tag team wrestler.
He better not, anyways. Chris
Sammy's
says Cora
a
Duff
singles
looking
wrestler.
like a streetwalker this week on NXT.
Yeah.
Walter's like, boo, the bloodline.
The high-waisted pants get me, though. I'm like, why do they have those? I mean, all she has to do is look at her coworkers and see that they don't work. Why would Paul Heyman like pretend to give orders? That was an order. That wasn't like Tribal Chief said. You know?
Yeah,
that was me saying like that's a little just a tiny overstep, and that's the guy you don't want to kind of overstep with.
I feel like if that's the case, then Roman should be like, oh, why are you telling them things that I didn't say? Like,
right.
But Sophie says Brock is upset that he opened night 2 of Mania. That is the storyline reason that Brock turned on Cody. Oh yeah?
All right.
Where's the proof? In the pudding. Walter says Sami Zayn will win over Jey Uso.
What match do we have here? Is it Eric or Ivar?
I don't know.
Ivar. Ivar can do somersaults. I don't know what they're talking about.
I know.
Super.
Sophie says, do you think
cartwheels.
Roman will lose the championships on the 1,000th day?
No.
Doubtful anymore.
It's going to go a little bit over. I don't think it'll go all the way to WrestleMania 40 unless they just don't have anybody left. And then they'll have to. Think about it this way. 2 ways. Well, let me throw one out. The first way is that Roman Reigns is only champion because there's nobody else.
Right.
There's just not a deep enough roster, and it's just kind of like the 70s with Bruno Sammartino. There's just nobody else to carry the company.
Well, there was, and there could be.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of if they want to do that or not.
Right. What are you talking about with Seth?
Is his AEW taint off of him enough?
Right. I think he has to go through everybody. So he's went through Seth. He has to go through Brock, and then he's ready. And plus, was it Triple H's idea to do that last Brock Roman feud and say this is the last time? Or is Brock like, or not Brock, sorry, but Vince like, no, it's not their last time. Brock's going to beat his ass for the title, and it's going to be Brock that dethrones him. because it makes the most sense.
Right.
Because it does. It makes Brock's the most capable wrestler there is.
And he was a good guy, and now if he's a... But the thing of it is that...
They're both bad guys. That's why it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that.
Because now he's a bad guy.
But you also can think of it this way. In every era, but right now, right, there's been one belt. So when you look back at the Pedro Morales, the Bob, whatever his name is, Backlund, Hulk Hogan, and the guy is San Martini. If you look at their title runs, there was one belt. So not only were they world champion for all those days, for well over 1,000 days, all of them. Bruno did it twice. There was one belt. There was one world title. There's 2 world titles now, right?
Right, yeah.
So if you want to do the real true math, when did he unify them, and how many days has that been? That's his true title run.
I think so
undisputed. So somebody out there, go find when he won the other title belt. So he had both of them. That date, and see how many days it's been, because that's the true number. How many days he's been the only world champion in WWE.
Right, because he was the SmackDown champion, right?
Yeah, and then I think he won. Yeah, he
and
beat
then
Brock,
he won the Raw.
Yeah, like a year ago.
Right.
So he's got like 300-400 days, or whatever it is.
Right.
So somebody look that up for me, and then let's do the real math.
Of what? Yeah, as a unified champion as he really is. Because who cares if he's a champion on SmackDown for
one show
1,000 days?
other.
Who gives a flying fuck?
Like, so how long has he been the undisputed world champion? That matters, because they all were.
Right.
And that's the true number, not the fake number where they put, hey, well, he had one of the belts for
and he was
1,000
a champion
days, but the other one,
he's only had it for...
which is still a huge title run.
True. Not that that's something to sneeze at, but it still makes it less relevant.
Right, because those are real numbers. So don't look at inflation, the inflated numbers. Look at the truth, and the truth is he's been undisputed champion for how many days?
Yeah, because that's what they call him, is the undisputed champion.
Because that's what he is.
Right.
Now.
But that wasn't what he was a year ago.
Yeah.
He was just whatever the SmackDown champion's belt is. Anyways, Walter said, Happy Good Friday, guys. Yes, Walter, Happy Good Friday to you, too. Walter also says Ricochet for the win. Sophie says the announce team mentioned that could be the reason. Walter says WWE has new Elite action figures, Travis, and AEW figures.
Nice.
Sophie says, interesting that they are starting a Brock Hill turn the same day as when WWE got bought by a different company. And Sophie says he unified him last year. Marshmallow says Brock Lesnar will attack Cody Rhodes again this Monday. Harley says he unified them at last year's Mania. Sophie says he won both the championships at Mania last year. Did he win both the championships, or he won the other championship?
No, he had already had the other one for 1,000.
Exactly. So he didn't win both of them last year.
Well, he did. He won the other one at WrestleMania. It was a unification match.
Right. But you can't say he won both championships at Mania last year.
It's fine.
Because he already had the other one. He had the SmackDown one. He won the Raw one. Sophie says, but for some reason they aren't counting both championship races. No. Vindicator says, Travis, who is on the cover of that Playboy magazine you got there?
Sable and Tori Wilson. So Sable, Brock Lesnar's wife. Sable Morrow was her name. And then Tori Wilson.
KJ from OC Podcast in the chat. Hey, KJ, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Says the SmackDown and Raw rosters are out of date under your description. I'm new here. Sorry if it's already been known.
Oh, you're fine.
That's okay.
I honestly probably did that 2 years ago or something. And then I just keep recycling. I need to update it. You're right.
Yes. Thank you for pointing it out, though. We do appreciate that when that does happen. We have other people pointing it out to us as well. It doesn't get updated, though. You know what's going to be funny? We could update it, and then they'll change it anyways.
Right. I'll update that, and then they'll do a draft. So.
Or the next day, they'll release 500 wrestlers.
It was 2 years ago, basically, coming up in October.
That they did the draft.
They did the draft when that was updated.
Yeah. That's funny. Someone says, yeah, he beat Brock for the other championship at Mania. Mushmouth says Roman Reigns needs a day off. He takes a lot of days off, though. They started this match, you guys. Ricochet and Ivar.
It's Ricochet versus
It's happening
Ivar.
right now. Sophie wants to know, do you think we will see any NXT call-ups tonight? I don't know why we would see actual call-ups.
I mean, you could see somebody like surprise us on here if that's what you're asking for. I can't think of any storylines that would make sense just right offhand. I mean, there's nothing really going on down there that says, hey, we're going to the main roster. I mean, I'd like to see some of the women show up. That blonde that's kind of stacked, she's built really tough, she needs to be on the main roster. Because she could put on really good matches physically with Charlotte and Bianca, Rhea. And they need girls that can fight those girls physically, not girls that are just going to be small. And,
right. I wonder when Nikita Lyons is going to be back.
I don't know. She was dancing.
Can't remember what did she break?
She tore a knee ligament.
That's right. Walter says, Sunday is Easter. I'm ready. Going to have a good dinner, then Easter eggs. Nice, Walter.
That's what I want to do.
Easter eggs?
Easter eggs. I just didn't know what the temperature would be. I don't think it's going to be nice enough.
I don't think so either. It's going to be, and if it is, it's going to be gross. Besides, who knows? They probably might be doing something that day, the kids. Right. If Ayla steps in here in a few minutes, we can ask her. So it says, so if you take one championship away from Roman, how long is his actual reign then?
Exactly. So however many days ago, April 3rd of 2022 was.
It's the 7th, so 4 days ago.
Right. And that changes things. And we're not trying to, like, shit on his title reign, because that's not the point. The point is all those guys were the only world champion, and they're starting to try to put Roman in there, like with the number. Mm-hmm. Like, he's gonna pass a couple of them with this title run. Like Pedro's one of them, Morales or whatever. But Pedro is the only champion. It's kind of a bigger deal.
Yeah.
At least it is to me. I mean, am I just talking to myself? Obviously, you agree with me. Do you guys agree? Like, to be the only champion or just another champion? Well, that's fine because they can just pass around the other belt and it looks fine. Ricochet's not strong enough to pick up Ivar.
Well, that and don't try. That's just weird.
It's just silliness. Picks him up, drops him over.
Holy shit. How'd you do that?
1, 2, and 3. No.
That's weird. So it says, so if you take...
Chickens are knocking.
They are. So if you take one championship away from Roman... Oh, I read that. It seems like they are going to continue the Braun Carmelo feud in NXT. Piccolo's in the chat. Hey, Piccolo, good to see you.
370 days, by the way, is the answer.
Nikita Lyons says she broke her torque bone. Walter says AEW Rampage tonight, Battle of the Belts. Harley had said Roman Reigns won the Universal title. I'm guessing at last year's Mania. Vindicator says, so Travis...
No, it was the WWE title he won last year.
The Universal title was the one that he won for SmackDown.
In 2020. Yeah. Right.
Vindicator says, so Travis, who would you say was the better wrestler between Sable and Tori, and who have the better legs?
Tori's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but Sable's the better wrestler.
Walter's like, Chelsea Green felt sick, went to the hospital, stomach, and then she's okay.
Okay. I did see that she went to the hospital again, and I was like, crap. I didn't read it, though. I should have, but I didn't. I was just like, God, is another broken something? Ricochet with the dub.
I feel like that's silly, but whatever. I guess because he's a
singles
guy, so I hope it makes sense that way. But otherwise,
where are they knocking at? Sounds like it's in the front room. Oh no, they're right behind us.
Hello.
Hello, people.
They're like, we hear you in there. Where's our bread, bitches? Give me the bread.
I need to get some of that plastic, like the 8-foot long plastic windows, that are windows, and make a little door here that goes to that window.
Oh.
That just goes across that side. It's not very wide. The other window's right on the other side of that closet.
Right.
And then Leopold could go out there.
Oh, yeah, do a catio for him. Mm-hmm.
Carpet it. make it all airtight, in there. Not airtight, but you know what I mean. Watertight. I don't think Sammy wants to let the Bloodline thing go.
Right. He wants to keep it forever.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Off. Sammy feels off. Why does Vince want Sammy to be the guy that takes the Bloodline down?
I don't know.
It just seems weird because it's such a big story that could keep going.
Right? So he says that this past Mania he had the WWE Championship for 1 full year.
Yeah, 1 year and 5 days. It's 170 days.
370. You got it.
Yeah.
Harley says, here's the total mass for Roman Reigns' title. So he says today marks 4 years since Kofi Mania. Walter says Shane McMahon shouldn't be at WrestleMania. He tore his quad, and Stephanie McMahon is getting better from ankle surgery.
Yeah, that was tough.
Sophie says, do you think we will get new tag team championship designs? I don't know.
That's a good one. I mean, I'm not a fan of these at all, and I said it the day they came out. I remember Luke was like, oh, they're all right, He liked the Intercontinental title one, too, and that one I
Really didn't
despised.
like.
The United States title one's actually way cooler, in my opinion.
Vindicator says, interesting that Vince will never make
Angel
amends
Dawkins.
with Sable to put her in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, wait, no, it's Rack Rod.
Really? Won't ever make amends with Sable?
He could.
Sophie says Rhea became the first female Grand Slam champion that has the NXT UK championship to her resume.
Yeah, those don't count. But
I don't.
It sounds fun.
Yeah, that's dumb. People's like, I probably will skip SmackDown for a couple of months the same way I did after WrestleMania last year. I feel like it's never worth my time after too much wrestling last week.
Natalia and Shotzi.
Yeah, Piccolo can understand that. Sophie says we know they are going to revisit Roman versus Cody at some point. Are they? And we know it.
Lots can change. It's a business that ever evolves. Cody could tear a pec.
He's done it before. Well, there's like Liv Morgan and Rodriguez for the win. Sophie
Yes.
says I thought Ronda and Sonya were the number one contenders after winning that match, that Mania match.
They are. Just don't want to put them on TV all the time. You'll see it at the pay-per-view in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Vindicator says still weird to see Liv with Raquel. Feels like even more of an awkward team up. That Natty and Shotzi. WWE tag division with the women is dreadful.
My question is what do they do with Rhea? Because she's their champion, so she needs to be there at least once a month, right? And then they have to build credible feuds for her. And all they're doing with the SmackDown girls are tag teams lately. So they can get more of them on TV, I would assume. But eventually they're going to have to do singles. And they only have 2 credible singles wrestlers over there.
Right.
That's Ronda, which nobody likes, and Rack Rod. That's it. Everybody else is, yeah, but Rhea will run through them. Unless you want to count Flair, but it looks like she's taking a break again.
Is it because Andrade's broken or something?
I don't know.
So weird. So strange.
She just needs to take a break, come back at SummerSlam, beat Bianca.
And have a reign, like an actual reign of being a champion.
No, she'll lose it at Mania to Bianca.
Oh my god, I know.
Huh?
I fucking hate it. It's so stupid.
Yeah, she needs... I see that video. Did you watch it?
Yes.
She needs that reign. She needs a 400-day reign.
At least. It's just... And then she can just go off into the sunset that everybody wants her to. I just want her to have a reign of actually being a champion, not, oh, I got the championship 500 times for one day each. Like, who fucking cares? That doesn't make you relevant. That's just weird.
Put her with 3 or 4 other women.
Yeah.
And just make her the queen.
Sophie says, do we know when the deal with the new owners actually come into effect?
Well, they're going to be publicly traded in 3 to 5 months. If that answers the question.
Mushmouth says Jey Uso should go after the IC title. Walter says, cool biography coming up Sunday. Chris says, yeah, more Liv and Shotzi. I'm telling they hate each other, man. Their mannerisms when they are in the ring together. If they can set their differences aside, they can make a great rivalry in the ring.
Right, and
they hate each other?
The other part of that is Rackrod's the only one that they could do that would be relevant, that would, if there was a turn, right? If Liv turns on her, it's not going to hurt her.
Yeah.
I mean, she could do something where Rackrod gets beat and pinned, but she couldn't turn on her and physically beat her up. Mm-hmm. Where if Rackrod turned on Liv, she could beat her up like Rhea Ripley did.
Right.
And then go on to wrestle. But the problem is Rhea Ripley is heel, and Rackrod being heel, it's just not going to work.
No.
And I mean, they could try Rhea as a babyface, but I don't think that'll work.
No, not with her persona and the way she dresses. They have to keep Rackrod as a face.
Babyface, right? Yeah. Which means that Liv would have to turn on her so she loses a match.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can have feuds, but she'll lose every one of them. Kind of thing. For a couple weeks, because it's WWE, they can do short storylines too.
Yeah, Sophie says it looks like Damian Dom versus Bad Bunny, Ray, and Cody versus Brock will be the top matches at Backlash, with Roman not being on the card. Picola says, fun fact, Puerto Rico has a tiny frog as a mascot. They call it coque. Or coqui.
Hey, that's cool.
Coqui. Coqui.
Well, we know Brock will go on last.
Yeah.
Let's be first or last.
Yeah, on that Backlash one.
He's going to be a main eventer again.
Walter says, Shotzi, no more tank in WWE. She just came out on a tank, sweetie.
She just drove it out there.
She came out with a tank. Sophie says
rolling.
Charlotte has 2 more reigns until she ties with her father. That means she just has 2 more wins, not reigns. Like, Sophie says, and who is Bianca going to feud with next?
She got anything in the works? No. I don't think there was anything. I mean, they hinted at Rhea, but that's not happening anytime soon.
Walter says, oh, geez, the tank. Watch out, fans.
Look how slow this match is. This is terrible. This is like coaching.
Well, it's a good thing they have what's-her-face out there. Natalya out there, then.
What
right?
is this? Oh, she's going to fly through the ropes. Oh, wow. Good for her. Did you see that?
No.
She shot through those ropes.
Who did?
Shotzi.
Shotzi?
Yeah, shot through them. Like,
wow. She doing something
like
better?
a dude. Looking like a ricochet out there. Yeah, she didn't do that stutter and then stop and then try to jump through ropes for a dead stop.
The stuff that the women usually do.
Yeah, she flew through. Rackrod caught her. Saved her life. Even though she would have been fine. She'd have landed on the ramp somewhere.
That's funny. Tuck and roll, baby. Tuck and roll.
What's she going to do here? Oh, she pulling her hair.
Oh, God.
Oh, she let go. She yanked her hair. She's like, how?
I wonder if she didn't mean to. Maybe
she was grabbing the back of her jacket.
Oh, yeah. She probably accidentally got her hair with it. Walsh says that. Chris says, look at them live just ignoring Shotzi. I can read the room. Mushwell says next year WrestleMania, Roman Reigns versus MJF. Bold statement.
Wouldn't that be funny if MJF showed up? Because if MJF shows up, who's he going to feud with? It's going to be the guys that they feud with. So it'll be who?
Right.
Miz.
Dolph. Corbin. Poor guys. Sophie says it'll be interesting what changes will happen once the new ownership goes into effect. Chris says, but that's good because a shot match would be entertainment, like have Shotzi and Liv sandbag each other like Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. Right. Sounds absolutely disgusting. Well, like MJF is still in AEW, and Sophie says, do you think if AEW introduces women tag team championships, would they do it a little bit better?
No. They don't respect their women's matches. You just don't see them on the main roster. You don't see them happening.
Yeah, they don't put them on the main roster very often. It's very rare. It's all on Rampage now. The only one you usually see is the actual women's champion. You'll see her on the main roster, but otherwise all of it's done on Dark. All of it's done on Rampage, and that's it. Other than that, you don't see any of them. It's tough, ridiculously dumb.
And they need more time, more TV time, and Rampage isn't the answer. No. It's a 1 hour show that just doesn't count because of the night they have it on. They try to make it relevant. It's not working. They're only getting like 400,000 people watching it max. And that's including people DVRing it and watching it later. You know, they take all that stuff into account. Anyways, what they need to do is another 2 hour show Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night. That's it. One of those nights. I would do it Tuesday night, and then I would move Rampage off of Wednesday myself.
Right. So Liv and Raquel won that match against Shotzi and Natty, and Shotzi took the pin from Liv. You know what it reminds me of? The whole stupid crap of them is Rock Rod and Dakota Kai in NXT. Yeah. It's like the same thing over again. Does that mean they're going to win the tag team titles and blah, blah, blah and shit? It's weird. So it says
he's so over. I can't believe they are not pulling an audible and doing something with him. Do it again. It's a PS5. He just broke the controller. Madcap holding it back.
Oh, gee.
He didn't want him to get beat up.
So it says I thought Shotzi was a heel. Yeah. For some reason, my TV froze. Sorry about that. Walter's like Morgan and Rodriguez won. They did. WWE wrestlers playing WWE 2K23. LOL. They were. Pico says the reality show on TBS, they really tried to make Taimelo and Sammy Guevara sincere, showing him crying and trying to save face with Eddie. I throw up the BS flag.
Look, I'm crying.
Oh my
eyes
God.
Just started watering.
Travis is a crier. Trying to be all sincere and shit. You faker.
He broke that controller. I don't know.
Chris says LA Knight. Yeah. Sophie says, wow, still continuing LA Knight versus Xavier Woods feud. Well, Xavier Woods doesn't have anything else to do. What else is he going to do?
Yeah, he's got no partners.
He doesn't have anybody to help him be relevant. He kind of has to figure it out for himself. Or he might get the axe.
What? Big E shows up and beats LA Knight. It'd just be funny.
Oh, Jesus.
LA loses every week anyways.
Sophie says, I feel like Rhea versus Bianca tease. They will give it to us at a much later date.
They'll probably do it at Survivor Series if Vince is back in charge.
Right?
We're going to get the champion versus champion stuff again. And they're going to get rid of that double ringed thing, you know, that Triple H brought in. And they're going to be like, what? Twitter's going to go and just crash because of the WWF fans.
No, you bastards. Pickles like onions. It got me too.
War games. It's something. I don't know what happened.
Vindicator says, guarantee AEW will not waste the signing of Jay White will become international or TNT champion with a couple of months.
He's going to... that's your prediction? My prediction, he's going to be on... Rampage within 6 weeks. Mm-hmm.
And then he'll try to like be something relevant on ROH or something stupid. Sophie says Charlotte is scheduled to take a break for an undisclosed amount of time. Harley says, what if they turn heel and let her feud with Bianca? Oh.
Who? Who's turning heel?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte, I have a feeling, is going to be the one that comes back. Because they have to have Bianca beat her because she's beat the other 3 of the 4 horsewomen.
Mm-hmm. Harley, who are you talking about turning heel and to face Bianca? Sophie says, what a chance that Jay White will get delegated to AEW Dark.
They better not today, right? But give it a few weeks. Now people know he's there, so next week they have no excuse. Although they put him up against the Pebble. I like Ricky Stark. I'm a huge fan of him. And I know a lot of people were really impressed with the one promo that he did against MJF a while back. Mm-hmm. But they dropped the ball. As flat out, as hard as you can drop a ball, they did on him.
Right.
Here it comes. The game. It's happening now. Triple H.
Vindicator says Charlotte needs to retire, period. Charlotte needs to have a reign of title that actually is a reign, as in days upon days. Like Roman Reigns' title. Be up in your face and then retire. Go have babies. Go have a life. Go be doing something different. I'm fine with that. But she really needs to have like an extensively long reign to make it worth her time to even retire.
Her dad had, I think, 2 title reigns over 1,000 days.
I don't understand. I mean, I get not liking her, but and you think, oh, it's because they're just making her win and she's just like her dad. But the thing of it is what good does it? What good is it? It doesn't do anything for her. Like, it doesn't do a goddamn thing for her. Being around and being, like, actual, like, hey, I am the, winner and I'm this, and be with that.
Yeah, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. Vindicator is like, Dark is not a delegation. It's another outlet for talent to get work. Some of the most popular wrestlers in AEW have no problem being on Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means that they don't care that they're nobodies.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but they just need an extra show. They need an extra 2 or 3 hours a week
of TV time.
They have
like real TV time.
They might have a bigger roster than WWE does.
During prime time, not an hour after everything's over in the middle of the fucking night, when it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter.
It's a bad time. That Friday night is just, it's bad.
Sophie says the only thing I hear about Rampage is that, like, an extension of their YouTube shows. Betty Kerr says, too bad WWE doesn't have the same care or respect for their supplement show main event, which is a dumb name anyway. Now it's basically just the Cedric and Dana show. Well, at least they're working, right? I mean, after all, they don't have a problem with being on Dark, do they?
I honestly
on it, do they?
Didn't know that show was still on until you just said it right now.
As Sophie just said, main event is still a show.
I figured they got rid of that like 2 years ago. Keep some breath in your body.
Right? Pico says, what Vin said, it's just reps. They need all the TV time to get used to production and how to act with the camera. Except for the fact that a lot of them have been on the camera, had actually been on Dynamite, and have been regulated to being off the camera and onto something else. What does that say?
They have too big of a roster.
And they can't...
Well, anyways, Triple H is talking.
Recycle it enough?
Still talking about the WrestleMania show.
Oh my god, guy. Walter says, okay, the game H is, I'm ready about the news.
Are you going to be at WrestleMania 40?
Vindicator's like, Charlotte is a black hole in the women's division and sucks all the life from it. Caught it, Vin. You have to agree to disagree. I get it that you hate Charlotte and you hate her with a fucking passion. I have that about people, and you guys just laugh about it and think it's nothing. And so I'll just laugh about it and think it's nothing then. Ha 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 ha. Oh, you don't like Charlotte? No. Actually, I respect that you don't like Charlotte. That's fine. But if it wasn't for Charlotte in some of the cases, there wouldn't be a fucking women's division.
No, it'd still be the Divas division.
It would be garbage. It would be women going out there in their sexy lingerie and doing their fucking little shit and stupid things that you guys think are so fucking entertaining. Yeah. Mud wrestling for 2 seconds.
WrestleMania
and
got a
having
billion
sex on
views
TV because that's great. But, you know. She's garbage.
Where are they headed?
Sophie says when they first announced Rampage, Fans thought it would be their version of SmackDown. Yeah, no.
All
Ooh,
right, he's gonna
futures!
talk about the future.
Let's talk about it.
He said,
Carly
"Are
says
you
Trish
ready?"
Stratus. Moshbell says
Are you
Brock
ready?
Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble. Walter's like, DX was a great group back in the day. Oh, that's nice.
2 weeks. A few
Oh,
weeks.
there
he
you
said.
go.
Draft's coming.
The draft is happening. Yep, they're popping up a draft. That's what he's talking about. Bigger than it's ever been.
Things are gonna look different. There's a draft coming. Game changing. So Bloodline's gonna be split up. I feel like tag teams should be drafted as one,
Right?
but real tag teams.
That's true, though.
There's Rhea.
Oh, yeah, you should have her come out and talk. That's going to be fantastic.
This'll kill the program.
Yay!
So did they say a date? Few short weeks. They should have gave us a poster.
Right? People's like future endeavors, Triple H. Well, there's like WWE draft. Yep. So he said this whole Triple H speech this past week feels like a goodbye from him telling us that he's going to leave soon. No, not really. Let's see. And Vindicator says Becky and Bayley had a lot, if not more, to do with the women's revolution changing from the Diva era. Pretty sure Becky wasn't even involved in that at first.
No, it was Paige. Paige was the first kind of the tip of the iceberg. And then Charlotte was the champion at the time. She won the Divas title, had it for a while, and then it turned into the women's championship while it was still in Charlotte's hands.
That's weird. But Charlotte had nothing to do with it, huh, Finn? Wink, wink, sir. Sophie says WWE drafted a few weeks, and he said it is only one night, and why couldn't he do this Monday this past week?
Not only should it be one night, which I love the idea of that, it should also be like a pay-per-view or a premium live event. They should make it legit awesome, like a real draft. Speaking of the draft, it's coming up. The NFL one on the 27th.
A legit real one. What? That's crazy. Let's see. Vindicator says, as did Paige and Sasha, even though some people don't like Banks anymore. Was Sasha even involved in it at that time either?
Yeah, she was.
A little bit?
A little bit. All four of the women were there, but the main one, obviously, was Charlotte with Paige.
Right.
AJ was there, AJ Lee.
Yeah.
What's her name? Nikki Bella. She was
still in it.
Still there. She wanted to be legit. That was her big thing. She didn't want to be a diva, even though she is.
Right. She really is, too.
Total divas.
Like, she really is a diva. And she's like a diva in real life, too, I bet. Sophie says, wonder what he hinting at with this draft news. Pico says, boring. Flipping back to
Bloodline break it
Undercover
up
Boss.
would be my guess.
Sophie says, I wonder what he means by the draft will be bigger than before. There's a
gonna
lot
be
of
one
people.
Night, and it's going to break up the bloodline. Although I don't know how it could, because if you were smooth, you could still draft, because Jimmy and Jey Uso are not getting drafted in the top 15.
I shouldn't be.
Well, Jimmy could be drafted, if they're doing them separate, could be drafted in the 30s. Mm-hmm. But Jay's still a top 20, 18 to 25.
Yeah. KJ says, well, damn, you were right. The draft was just announced. Ha!
Ah.
Yep. Sophie says, does that mean the draft is going to happen before or after the pay-per-view?
Well, what's a few mean? 3 to 5, right?
Yeah.
How many weeks until?
A few weeks. I don't know. When is that paper?
The 7th or something.
Walter says Raw to SmackDown, the SmackDown to Raw draft, maybe NXT. Maybe. Pico's like, boo, yow. Booyah. And Walter says, okay, bye, guys. See you Monday, Raw. Have a good Easter. You too, Walter. Happy Easter. Have a fun day.
So 3 weeks would be the 28th.
Picola says, mock drafts show Bryce Young heading to the Texans and Gators, quarterback going to the Colts. KJ says, is it possible UFC guys and gals could get drafted? I'm waiting to see Conor McGregor.
No.
No.
But I think that he was hitting at NXT could be drafted.
Sophie says, I wonder why they never explored doing the draft on a pay-per-view before. Chris says, Michael Cole putting Rhea match versus Char over, but I will say this, it was the best women's match in WWE history. Yes, I will say that. Sophie says, Triple H didn't confirm the date for the draft, and Chris says, Finn Balor should have beat Edge. Makes no sense. Finn got injured, Chris. I don't think that whole match ended quite how they wanted it to.
Yeah, that was the worst match of the WrestleMania by far.
Only because
Except
of
for maybe
injury.
The Shane McMahon and
his injury too. The worst matches were caused from injuries.
But it was Snoop Dogg who took over and did that all. Like Triple H said, he's like, what he did out there, nobody knew that he was going to do that.
He improvised it quite well. Good for Snoop Doop. Good for the Snoop Dogg. So he says May 5th is Backlash.
Yeah, that's 5 weeks out. So you've got 3 weeks to 5 weeks out. Or 4 weeks out,
They hate him so much.
That's
They
awesome.
don't even want him to talk. And then the stupid ass talks to him, and it's like, dude, that's not how it works. One of them should. I couldn't hurt him. He loves his dad. Liar. Liar. Chris says all the Croc giving up Jeff level heat to Dom. So it says they are probably trying to figure out the perfect time to do the draft. I'm sure we'll have more information as the next week.
I was just hoping to get a poster. A few weeks.
A few weeks.
Yeah, we'll do it in a few weeks.
We'll do it in a few weeks.
That's like talking to kids. We'll do it in a few weeks. Don't
That's
worry
fine. It never happens.
Exactly.
We're all like, what's happening? Why are we doing the draft? The people are yelling and screaming about it on social media. How can they do this to us? Why are we getting the draft?
Don't worry. It'll be over in a few weeks. Who's the second pick?
Who is it? Who?
That's what like. Think about this. If they do it right, they should go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 until they get to about 20, and then do that where Raw gets more.
Right.
But the first few shouldn't be that way.
So he says, I'm surprised that they are doing the draft a lot later than fans thought they would do it the Raw after Mania.
No, they can't do that one, right? You can't do it the Raw after Mania. There's too many stories to be told. Like what we're watching right now, as a matter of fact. Although you could do it, I guess, you could do the highlights in between the draft picks.
Right.
But who would be second? Who would you guys pick second? We all know who's going first, but who would you pick second? Who's the second overall pick? Who's second?
None of them. They're all garbage.
Everybody tell me your second pick.
Because you have to pick your whatchamacallit first.
Your Tribal Chief's going number 1. Like, there's no doubt in the world. And remember, there's women in there, too, so you could obviously just concentrate heavily on women and then get your men later. It'd be weird, but you could.
Pickle is telling you it's Dominik Mysterio.
Dominik's 2?
Dominik Mysterio, duh. Mushmallow says Seth Rollins will be second pick.
Over Cody, huh? See, that's the tough one, is because you've got Cody and Seth in their, A1, AB, it's like A1, A2.
Mm-hmm.
You also got Brock. but Brock's old. Bobby's older, right? Like so. But are they? I feel like they need to tell you when the next draft is.
Draft?
Right?
The
Because
draft?
if you don't know, then it doesn't matter. Like if it's only a year out, then you can take old guys. But if it's say 3 years out, then you're like, woo. The LWO. Zelina Vega does not look good. Normally she looks good. She looks like a bike rider or something. Is that
Their
what
little
it is?
mask thing she had on?
Is it a bike rider?
No. Uh-uh.
She's cosplaying something.
Yeah, it has ears on it. So I'm not sure. Marshmallow says that. Sophie says Edge. Pico's like, then
Edge.
Joey Janela.
Yeah, Joey Janela, Dominic.
Dominic, then Joey.
Would you, because he's so young, like a future prospect, would you go Dante Martin? Also in the top?
Yes. Sophie says it looks like Randy Orton might not be back after all. No shit.
Really?
Really?
Is this your first time here? Been saying it for 6 months.
I know that all of you guys really want him to come back. You have got to give that guy time. His injury is just, his stuff is just completely different than what some of these other guys come back as.
San Juan, Puerto Rico.
And from. It's just different. Piccolo says, I don't care if he's not on the main roster. He's number 3 in my heart, damn it. So he says maybe the draft will somehow get us to world championships again.
I'm sure they've got something figured out. Maybe that's why it's game-changing.
Chris says, LL Zelina cosplay. Sophie says, and tell us the draft rules, like who can be drafted and who can't be drafted.
Everybody can be drafted. That's
Yeah.
what he just said.
Everybody on the roster is
Everybody
available.
on the roster can be drafted. Meaning NXT? Or are they not on the roster? Because they're really not on the roster.
I don't
If you
know if
look
I
at
would
their
consider them
rosters,
on the roster.
They're not on the roster if you look at the rosters.
Yeah. Because if you're only drafting SmackDown and...
But in every other draft we've ever watched, they pulled people up. You know,
Right.
They said, oh, look who this is.
Okay, Vinegar says, all right, help me out, Travis. Why is Zelina dressed like a race car driver and she's usually a fashion superstar? I'm not sure if she's like a race car driver because her
thought it was
helmet
Moto X.
type wasn't really a helmet because you could see her hair and it had ears. So I'm not sure what that's about. Piccolo says, what happened to all the Gable Stevenson hype?
Yeah.
Marshmallow says Randy Orton will return at SummerSlam. Okay.
Did you guys see what happened to Kurt Angle? Did you watch this? Like you know how they do those Sunday shows on A&E or whatever?
Mm.
So, no shit. They asked him when he was like in college still, hey, if Vince McMahon came to you and said, here's a contract, would you sign it? And he's like, probably not, you know, like it's weird. Anyways, so then Vince calls him. And he calls him in and offers him a 10-year deal. Big deal. Like it's a big money deal.
Right.
And he said, he says this to Vince McMahon. He's like, I will take that if I never lose. And Vince is like, well, thank you for coming in. Shakes his hand. Well, anyways, he goes back to his life and everything. And then he's like, I think I want to give that a shot, you know? So he calls Vince up. And Vince is like, you can come try out.
That's funny.
And so he does. He goes to try out, and like he hates it. He gets beat up, and he's like, "It was the hardest thing for me to learn how to be thrown around,
Right.
because voluntarily." He's like, "This isn't wrestling." He's like, "This is self-mutilation." He's like, "I'm quitting. I'm done." And then he's like, "But my manager said, hey, just stick it out through the day."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "I made it through the day, and I was sore. I was beat up. I just didn't like it." And the next day, he's like, I that's when I committed myself. And then Vince said,
To the loony bin? Just kidding.
yeah, Vince said, I will give you the lowest contract we possibly can.
Oh,
And
ouch.
that's how he started.
Nice.
So he went from having a decent contract for 10 years to having
Nothing
to try
because
out.
he Didn't want to do it.
That's Vince.
Yeah.
Like-
Robbie says, yo, what you jokers saying? Nothing?
Yeah.
What are you saying, joker face?
Rey Mysterio got number 2 in the draft.
Harley says, so is Seth Rollins for second overall pick? I don't know.
I would say Cody, but now look what happened. There's no feud with Cody and Roman because they're on different shows.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to boil down to. So if Cody goes second, no feud. It's over. But if Seth goes second, then Cody goes third.
Chris says Tiffany Stratton better be drafted to Raw or SmackDown.
Main roster call up.
Vindicator says
LWO.
Orton can stay away too. We just had this has-been Cena and Trish and Lita come back. Like, please stop. Give new people a chance to shine instead of these outdated relics. Except for the new people suck ass, Vindicator, so I don't know why we're giving them a chance. Most of them can't wrestle. They can't do the moves right. They botch everything they possibly can.
Who are we
and
talking
they suck.
about?
Like Dominik Mysterio. Why do we have him? Can we trade him?
Well, I
Can we
thought
not
this would
have
be
him
over
and
after
have Randy
Mania.
Orton
I thought
instead?
Rey Mysterio was going in the Hall of Fame for a reason.
Right? Sophie's like, there are some drafts that champions can't be drafted.
So
Chris-
they just roam. Remember when Brock was a free agent? Like, literally,
Yeah.
just be a free agent.
Mm-hmm. On purpose. Chris says Gable's Stevenson hype got replaced with Braun Breaker hype. That's what happened.
Ouch.
Was it? Pico says the biggest draft move, Kevin moving to SmackDown, goat of announcing. Oh, Pico, you're full of poop.
Yeah, can announcers be drafted? McAfee going to be drafted?
Robbie says, is D been any good? No. Sophie says, Gable Stevenson, we haven't seen him since that weird segment with Kurt Angle last year. Pico says, hardly Robbie.
Wasn't he just
like,
with
Cole,
Kurt Angle?
really?
Wasn't that just a few weeks ago? When Kurt Angle, it was on Kurt Angle's birthday.
Yeah.
That wasn't last year, was it? Holy
Might have been.
shit.
I don't know.
Alexa, when is Kurt Angle's birthday?
Kurt Angle's birthday is on December 9th.
Holy shit.
Travis was like, it happened
This
yesterday,
month is
bitches.
flying. You know, we're in the middle of April. Been saying that for a week.
We are not in the middle of April.
It's the 7th.
It's just the 7th.
The 7th through the 21st is the middle.
Michelle says it's Survivor Series AEW versus WWE. That's silly.
Yeah, that would be fun after Vince signs them. Hey, you never know now.
Buys out the whole company.
Vince could easily buy it now. I mean, he's got billions on his own. Like, he could just go buy another wrestling company.
Right?
Step aside, step down, or just merge it. Like, hey, I'll buy your company. And they're like, what? Yeah, I'll give you $200 million. They're like, oh, you know. And he'll talk to the real Khan. And Khan will sell it to him. And then he'll just take it and just load it into the big company. And then they just cut everybody.
Right?
Don't take my babies.
Don't let it take my baby.
That's creepy.
Yeah, open up now. Evil Dead Rise. Whoa.
Been there.
What?
Although, McKenna was never into TV.
She was never into TV.
She's still not into TV.
Robbie says shows Vince is back. And Sophie said Vince gave Bret Hart a 20-year deal before the Montreal Screwjob happened. Has Gable Stevenson brother been on NXT?
No, I don't know anything about him.
Robbie's like, just got home and Harley says, good night, everybody, and happy Easter to all. Thanks, Harley. Have a great rest of your weekend. Sophie said, so the Latino World Order is a permanent name. That's interesting. I don't know. It's fine. Pico says, who's this Cody guy? Such an afterthought. Sophie says, but how can the WWE have a draft since Raw and SmackDown is being run by the same person, Adam Pearce? What difference does that make? I said, D, did you think Rhea is going to keep the belts? No. Chris says Dom honestly should go to NXT. He would be honest as a heel there. Pair him with Cora. Have them be like Sammy and Ty type of heels. Ew.
Oh, Lord.
God, no. Please don't. Just get rid of him altogether. Just put him in a dumpster or something. Pickle's like, how old? How old is what? Vindicator says Carmelo Hayes, Djokovic, LA Knight, Montez Ford, those newbies need to be elevated to stardom, not those who have been there, done that, and are mostly boring now. LA Knight is old. I don't care about Carmelo Hayes. He's a loser down in NXT.
Yeah, Carmelo's a tough one to watch.
Djokovic got moved from the main roster back down to WWE or NXT because I wonder why. And Montez Ford,
star.
I could see him getting pushed, but at this point he's still in a tag team. But don't wait, if Vince is involved, there won't be a tag team, and he might actually get a push.
Yeah, he'll get pushed to the top if Vince is there.
So there you go. You should be happy that he's there. Otherwise, he won't.
I like
Djokovic
a lot, but he's had 2 opportunities on the main roster.
True.
And did nothing.
Chris says, "Oh, Vince should just buy Impact." LOL. Vindicator's like, but I never liked Dominik. Been saying since day one he is a dumpster fire. He is so pathetic. They need Bad Bunny of all people to make the idiot look mildly interesting. Not even then. Pickle's like, I'm clicking on stuff, searching things. Why and what's the Sophie timeout all about? I don't know. Ask Ravi. Dude, why did you time Sophie out? Like, what the fuck? Sophie didn't do anything. Is it because you're drunk? Don't time Sophie out for weird stuff. Will says, it says that EST's her B-Day is on Easter Sunday. No, yeah, her birthday's this weekend, huh? Chris says, D-Jack is awesome. He's the Terminator now.
I saw that.
What?
He still reminds me of the cartoons that try to eat the bunny.
Oh, God.
And they turn on each other and they start biting each other.
Right.
He looks just like that guy.
That's funny.
Old Bugs Bunny.
Well, we know Santos can't do anything against this guy because, the last time he went up against him,
yeah, he lost. Santos used to be good. What's your thoughts on this guy, Vin?
Robbie.
You like Santos?
Ray going in. Chris says they
Whoa.
need to bring up NXT wrestler by the name of Zion Quinn. He reminds of Dave Bautista.
I don't know if I've seen him. I'll have to watch. I've been watching here and there, especially over the last few weeks.
Teach him a lesson. Give him a whooping.
Whoop it.
Whip him. Whip him good.
Oh, there it is. What?
Dun, dun, dun.
2.
You can whip it.
No.
Oh.
Na-na-na-na-na.
You must.
Whip it. Na-na-na-na-na.
You must. Whip it.
Whip it. Whip it into shape. I don't know the song, but they do. There's a lot going on in that.
There is a lot going on in that song. Pico says Zion Quinn is shacking up with a smoking blonde who's on the QTMZ segments. I don't know that person, so.
Oh, really? That girl.
QT. Oh, so what's her face?
Well, hell, good for him.
Danny Alexo.
Yeah,
Is that
whatever
her name?
I don't know what it is. She's on
She used to be a redhead. She's like really good friends with Shotzi.
Shotzi and Scarlett. They did a lot of photo shoots together.
Yeah. Her name is Danny Alexo. Got it. Ha. Before you put it up. Chris is like, by the way, Zion Quinn also goes out with Shotzi, big boob redhead friend Brandy Lauren, or her real name, Brandy Lauren. So he's like, hi, I'm back after my time out for no reason. I don't know what happened, Sophie. I think Ravi's drunk. Chris says her ring name. Yes, her ring name. Ooh, the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Why
Get
is
her,
Rhea-
Zelina. Get her.
So is this going to be the next feud?
Throw your little tiny ass at her. Get her. She's like, come on, get me. Get me. Come on, run after me. Come on.
She has a plan. What is it?
I don't know. Let's find out. Oh.
She hit her in the shin with a chair. Oh, she's coming.
She's like, come on. I'll get you away. Well, if she's not there, then they can't distract anybody.
She distracted the distraction.
She distracted the distraction of distractions.
Whoa, 619.
Oh, no. Poor Dom got beat.
Oh, big right hand.
Damian Priest, the legal man. People's
That's
like
it.
photo shoots, Googling. Who missed you there? Sophie Picola says. So he says, we don't know what the draft means for the unified champions and Sami and Owens and Roman. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we, in a few weeks? Piccolo says, I took a nice drunk nap for about 2 hours, day drinking at B-Dubs today. Nice. Good thing to do on a Friday. Chris says Zelina is actually getting a pop. If they push her, she can be like the Latina version of a 2017 Bliss. Sure. So he says Rhea versus Zelina, interesting first feud for Rhea. They have been hinting at it for a while. Have
Uh-oh,
they?
here it comes, guys.
Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, it's going to be after the break. Dang it.
They're like, we don't want you to see. Yay, WrestleMania breaks.
Yeah, they got
Hey, it's that dumbass.
they got to wrestle each other.
That Riddle dummy. Ow. I was like,
against
shit, I
the Miz.
swear I only ate mozz sticks and chips and salsa. That sounds about right. I mean, those are good snacks, though, right? Mozzarella sticks. Come on. James tells us Brock is the world's biggest backstabber.
Yeah, he is.
Pickle's like, Happy Good Friday only comes once a year.
Yeah,
That's right. That's why you got to go drink and have mozzarella sticks.
unless you gave up drinking for 40 days.
Yeah, if you did give up drinking, then you wouldn't be drinking.
Do you want to hear?
That's why you don't do that. That's a vice you don't give up.
It's true.
You either don't do it or you do it. Yeah. Look how close I am to 21. But they don't tell you the actual real number, so I'm like, I don't know what it is.
Pico says, no meat today, just saying. Yeah, no meat today. No meat at all? None whatsoever? I thought that you could eat fish. Sophie says, do you think the draft will happen in a Raw or SmackDown? Your butt.
It's a few
Happened in
weeks,
your
so
butt.
we don't know.
Pico says, either you in or you're out.
I feel like you have to do it on a Raw because it's longer.
Yeah. James Sotelo in the chat. Hey, James says Roman Reigns is a big sissy. He can't fight his own battles.
We could do a draft ourselves.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
do a 2-hour show of a draft with the lists. Let's see who we'd pick.
Sophie says, and a one-night draft, they haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun to do. We could figure out and do the real rules how it should be. So like 1-1 pick until say 20, and then from there go 2-1 for Raw and SmackDown.
Right?
Because I feel like the top needs to be just as heavy. And then are you doing women with the men, or are you doing a women draft separate? And if you did that, that's weird.
True.
But they could do that. They could do a men's draft and then a women's draft. Who goes number one if you're drafting women, knowing that you're going to draft again in a year or two?
I don't know.
I feel like they should do a draft every 3 years, and then that would make the draft more important for the storylines.
Right?
So, are they drafting? I wonder when they go into companies and they say, hey, we're selling SmackDown, because that's coming up, right? It's the summer, and the draft is happening, guess what? Late spring.
Right?
So they're drafting to sell. They're not drafting for wrestling fans. So
Right.
the rosters are going to be very similar and very strong.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being there, not like, hey, SmackDown's going to be the athletes that Fox wants, and Raw's going to be the athletes that are left. Because that's what they did. Remember, they put Charlotte, because she was a bigger draw, and Roman over on SmackDown when they first did it.
Yeah.
For that reason. And Brock.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that being said, you could draft just equally. So would you pick number one as woman?
I don't know. I seriously don't know who I would do.
Would you take a champion or would you take the best wrestler? Because I feel like Becky's the best wrestler.
But she's kind of a champion right now.
That doesn't
Not-
count. But yes,
Not
I
a
get
good
it.
one, but
Tag team championships in WWE to me are just like, okay. You know, like, that's fun. It's like
That's
the 24/7 title.
Chris says Gunther, King of the Ring and LA Knight, Money in the Bank cash in on Cody. Sophie says, I could see them doing a 2-night draft like they have done since the Fox era SmackDown began. Cortland says the next pay-per-view is WrestleMania Backlash, right?
Yes.
Or just Backlash?
It's just Backlash this year, not WrestleMania Backlash.
Just Backlash, not WrestleMania. But yes, it is Backlash.
And it's in Puerto Rico.
In May.
In May. The first weekend of May.
Piccolo says, obvious answer, Io Sky is his first women's pick. Sophie says, I say do the draft, but not too close to a pay-per-view because they could ruin storylines and feuds. I'm surprised he didn't say Mia Yim. Chris says, Jinder Mahal tag group with Veer and Shanky and NXT are actually a force they can face tag teams like Viking Raiders and Rico and Braun.
Absolutely.
James says
Love
Daniel
him.
Bryan
Hey,
and
look,
Brock are both
next week,
backstabbers. They should marry each other.
Nakamura making his return.
Oh yeah, James. Yeah, they're both backstabbers, bastards. So he's like, and we don't know if NXT is going to be involved in the draft like they have done in the past.
Okay, so even if they did, how would you do that? Because you still have to have NXT, and there's no way they're making it an equal brand because all those people in NXT aren't ready. So how would they do it other than just taking the top and saying, okay.
Oh, hey, he found him. Now we're going to see him talk to him. At him. What? Robbie says, D, Travis, you like UFC. You should check out and sub to my boy Naz channel, The Fight Week. It's a great channel where they do previews and watch-alongs. That's cool. Chris says Cody versus Gunther at SummerSlam, Steel City, Detroit. Cody can be an American hero like the Lex Express. Pickle's like, oh, how did I forget Pixie Wings Miss Spaghetti? Old spaghetti lady. Sophie says they have broken up tag teams during the draft and we haven't seen Shinsuke on WWE TV since November or December of last year. Yeah, he went down to NXT for a minute. Vindicator says, all right, you guys have a good weekend and Easter celebration. I don't expect Sammy and Jay to do anything to each other. I have not seen one or times before.
What's going on?
So I will check back with you guys on Monday.
What's happening in the back?
Oh, no.
Oh, Solo got attacked. Or Solo attacked Sammy.
No.
No,
Kevin.
we'll get there. Kevin.
Oh, no. Poor Kevin. Ooh, Solo.
Well, he told him he had to take care of the problem. So how bad's that injury?
It's terrible. I think he's going to lose his leg.
Is it bad enough that he's not going to be able to defend the tag team titles?
It's bad enough that he's going to lose his leg tonight. They're going to have to take it off.
Long John Silver.
Anyways, thanks for hanging out with us, Vin. We'll see you on Monday.
Here comes the
Have a
Uso
wonderful weekend.
Penitentiary.
Happy Easter.
It's just Jay.
Be safe. Eat good food. Vindicator says, take it easy, Stevie. Sophie says, I feel like we are going to get Cody versus Roman. Mushmouth says Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman at Crown Jewel. Sophie says Cody versus Roman 2 at SummerSlam. And Robbie's like, D, Travis, my boy used to live in London but moved back to Morocco where he's from. That's cool.
Nice. Morocco.
Pickle's like, amputate.
Morocco.
Oh, Long Johnson. So he says Vince is at a concert tonight. That is why he isn't at SmackDown like he was on Raw and Mania weekend. Oh, no. He's probably calling from his phone now. Don't you dare let that happen with my mustache.
Dominik Mysterio growing out a mustache. Or a lip eyebrow.
Right.
Whatever you want to call it. So he can look like Vince.
Pickle's like, I'd rather go Faith Hill. Keep it alive. So he says he is at the Eagles concert.
Nothing wrong with them.
Going and seeing the old people because he's an old person. Good for Vince being all old, watching old things.
What do they call it when they come back on stage after they've encore?
An encore.
They have the third encore at those Eagles concerts. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Robbie says, you would enjoy the channel. They preview boxing and do watch-alongs as well.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's pretty cool, Robbie. The name of that channel is The Fight Week.
That's a pretty cool name.
Space. Pickle says, twirling the stash and tying Shotzi to the tracks. Sophie says, Triple H runs SmackDown and Vince runs Raw. I thought the Eagles were retired. Aren't they all, Sophie? Aren't they all?
Is it? I mean, one of them's dead.
Yeah, he's really retired. Like 6 feet under retired.
I mean, who's in the new group, the Eagles? Is Don Henley even in it?
Chris says Alabama versus the Eagles versus Chicago. Travis, who wins in band-off?
Eagles are kind of country, but they're not country enough to compete with Alabama. So Alabama obviously wins in the country department. Who was the other background?
Chicago.
Chicago's third. I like Chicago. They're fun. They're great, but it's just love music. So we're going to get rid of them. Peter Cetera has the best voice, but Don Henley's right there with him. But anyway, so I would just separate them because they're 3 different styles. One's love music, one's country music, and the other one is rock.
Right.
But I would go Eagles because all 5 of them play all 5 instruments. I mean, they're all so talented. They have 2 of the 3 greatest guitar players ever. If they had had Eric Clapton in their group, they would have just done it. That's it. They had all 3. They had the trifecta.
Right.
The Holy Trinity.
So it's like, I mean, the musician Eagles band. The Eagles band. Yeah, we
we
know
know
who
who
you're
you're
talking
talking
about. Sophie, we got it. That's why I made the joke I made. And one of them is dead. Sophie says, which of the original Eagles band? Sophie says, which band is better, Grateful Dead or Journey? Oh, God. Pickles can't say
Well,
that I
I'll
know
tell
her
you
for,
right now, the
being in a
Grateful
coma.
Dead has a lot more fans. I'll tell you that. They're
Journey.
But Journey is great. But the Grateful Dead, they're what would you like tribal? They're festival music. Like that's a life decision.
That's a psychedelic decision that
Where-
you make when you
where
want to go pop some acid.
Where Journey is just a band. Like you just put it on in your car while you're driving down the street.
Right.
Like you have to change your lifestyle to listen to the Grateful Dead. By the way, I love the Grateful Dead. Driving that train, high on cocaine. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed.
Robbie says, Journey, don't stop believing. Robbie's like, you like Foreigner? People's like festivals. You ever been to one, Sophie?
Foreigner, pretty sure I know who that is, but name me a song of theirs, just real quick, in case. It's an 80s group. They're a hair band.
People's like, bet that's your sort of thing.
I'm trying to think of a song. I mean, once they say it, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I know there. But, I mean, I know who Foreigner is. I just don't know what songs they sing.
Right. Robbie says, I want to know what love is.
Yes. Jesus Christ. Yeah. There again. So I realized the other day that I lost my man card.
Oh, no.
Every song I like from the 80s
It's a love song.
is a goddamn love song. It's a ballad. Every one of them. I'm like, oh. I was like, those songs rock, dude. Like, Every Rose Has its Thorn, probably the greatest 80s ballad ever, you know? And then I'm like, motherfucker. It's a love song. It's a Love Gone Wrong song, but it's still a love song.
Right. Pickle's like hot-blooded.
Hot-blooded, check and see.
Chris
I
says,
got a fever up 103.
Chris says, Travis, who wins between Travis Tritt versus Randy Travis? Battle of the Travis country music.
Fuck. I love me some Travis Tritt, but Randy Travis is on just another level. Like, he's up here. He's the class of 87, man. That class of 87 is untouchable in country music. There's no better class than the class of 87. That's Randy Travis. That's Garth Brooks. That's, what's his name, AJ? Alan Jackson. There's a few others in that group, too. Those guys are, for one class. It's like the class of '83 in the draft in the NFL.
Ooh, a problem that's going to get solved now.
Sammy's gonna go solve a problem.
Piccola says Lou Graham is the lead singer. Sophie says, do you
Oh.
think we will see Roman Solo and the Usos team up against Kevin, Zayn, Cody, and a fourth partner at a future pay-per-view?
No. That's too many. That's too much.
Yeah, Piccola says, dang, Robbie, I want you to
That's
show me
That's some
weak
AEW.
sauce.
I don't want to call you a lazy booker, whoever said that, but that's some AEW booking.
That's what Sophie said it.
They're not gonna do that here.
Robbie says, that's foreigner. Colette, I know music. Trust me. Chris says, Sam Travis, all I listen to 80s ballads and country. Piccola says, yeah, that's why you needed to get into punk. Robbie says, Coley, you show the you know the vibes. Sophie says, why are they saying USFL is real football? I thought the XFL was supposed to be for real football fans. It's all for the real football fans. They all say it.
It's all real.
The NFL says it too. It's ridiculously dumb. Piccola says, you know something non-sappy? I thought you knew Beastie Boys and Paul Revere.
I do.
Robbie says the Beastie Boys' Paul's Boutique is a classic album.
I don't know the name of the album. I think it's Licensed to Ill is my absolute favorite.
Oh, the Beastie Boys?
Uh-huh. I think that's what it was called, Licensed to Ill.
Chris says John Michael Montgomery album is banger. You know which one I'm talking about.
I said, hey, pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'll do anything to make you mine on mine. I'll do your bidding and be at your beck and call.
Oh, barf. Hurts my eardrums so much.
I don't know that song.
I don't want to hear it. Hey, they're going after each other. Like, ooh, I'll get you. No, I'm going to get you. So it's like, hopefully they have suitable opponents for Roman for the next pay-per-view. People's like, ironically, I sent Ayla a YouTube vid. Ooh, ironically.
So ironical.
And now she's not even here to tell us all about it. Jerk.
Kind of a dick move.
Ayla's a bitch. What a bitch. How dare she? Feels like about Rolling Stone ranking 100 metal songs of all time.
What? You know, I used to love Rolling Stone. I don't know how good they are now because
We're not talking about the band. We're talking about the magazine.
no shit.
Okay.
Like everybody, like
Okay.
we were talking about the band. I don't like them. Although I do like some of their songs, but I've never been a fan of them. But anyways, I used to get them. My grandma got me the subscription. And my grandma has the most organized house on the planet. And I had a place in the bathroom for my magazines that was like this tall, and it got full. And then we ended up putting them in boxes, and then it just got full again. Like, she let me just collect them, and they just stayed in the bathroom. So when people come over, she's like, why would you want to read on the toilet?
Right?
But everybody did, and she couldn't understand it. So people were flipping through the magazine.
That's funny.
Because to her, it's like you just get in and get out,
Yeah.
Anyways, but I had all of them, and my buddy Jeff did the same thing, but he would cut them up and put them on his walls. So his walls were just covered in Rolling Stone. And this is in the early 90s stuff. But I ended up throwing them all away.
Robbie says, what makes good driving, chilling music is neo soul or Brazilian funk samba.
Huh?
Yeah, that sounds like you might want to run over people and murder them.
Yeah, I'll tell you what not listen to. It's called NWA, or NWO, the NWO by Ministry. Don't listen to that with headphones on, with a helmet on a motorcycle. Don't.
Okay. Why?
It's the most upbeat metal song that I can think
so
of.
make it drive fast and be crazy.
No matter how hard you pull your throttle on your bike, you're not fast enough to keep up with the mute. It's just like,
that's funny. Sophie says Drew McIntyre contract expires sometime this year.
Drew Mac.
Pico says exactly physical media meant something back in the day. Sophie says, do you think Kevin Owens and Zayn feud with the Usos continue all the way to SummerSlam like they might be doing with Cody and Roman?
Yeah.
Piccolo says,
Well,
my mom
Cody and
still
Brock.
has old National Enquirers and Gossip Mags stashed.
That's so cool.
Yeah. That's funny.
Except for it takes up real estate. But other than that, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah. Devontae Curry in the chat. Hey,
Hey,
Devontae
Devontae.
says, what matches have happened?
All of them.
All the matches.
We're at the end now. It's Jimmy and, Jay
Jay.
Uso and Sami Zayn. We had Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes going up against Imperium. That one was pretty good, but the Brawling Brutes and Sheamus won that one.
Yep.
And then in the back, you had Solo and Jay, and they talked about doing some damage to somebody. Anyways, they ended up attacking Kevin Owens and hurting his knee, so he's out for a while. Ricochet and Ivar was a match, and Ricochet won that one. And then we had Rack Rod and Liv Morgan going up against Natalya and Shotzi, and Rack Rod and Liv Morgan won that one, obviously. Triple H announced the draft. It's coming in a few weeks. He didn't say a date. But then he introduced Rhea Ripley, and then the LWO, which is Santos Escobar, and what is the group?
LWO.
Thanks.
Oh, Judgment Day.
No,
What group?
the LWO.
Santos
Escobar's group. Anyway, Santos
Phantasma.
Phantasmos guys. Anyways, those guys were on the outside, so it was Ray Jr. and Santos Escobar versus
Legado
Dominic
del
and
Fantasmo.
yeah, there you go. Versus Dominic and Damian, and Dominic and Damian won that.
Yes.
And now we have Sammy and Jay, and that's happening now, but we're at a commercial.
Kevin was attacked in the back by Solo Sequoia.
Right. He got his ankle or knee all tore up, it looks like.
So,
So their tag title run might be over.
oh. We're getting all kinds of fun little thingies. What are these?
What is that?
Little, like, party things and hearts and stuff.
I don't know. Somebody give us money or something.
I don't know. No money. Haven't seen any money.
Looks like a party.
That's
Woo! Parties.
cool. Thanks, whoever's giving those to us. That's fun. I've never seen those before. That's interesting. What is that?
I don't know. They're like a hooray thing.
I know, but...
I feel cooler now. Is it because we were talking about 80s love ballads? Oh! He got him over a superplex off the top. Both of them in a reeling.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Solo is out there. He did come out right before the break.
Yes, he did. Mm-hmm.
They're still coming. Now they're different.
Sophie says
Now there are
when the-
faces in there, too.
Yeah. Parties and faces. Sophie says when the Usos lost their championships, Roman seemed to distance himself from them. We got a lot more wrestling tonight than we did this past Monday. Pickle says that really doesn't say much. And Sophie says with the draft, they are probably discussing plans for when to hold it and to see if a one-night event could be possible.
Yeah, I want to know how they could
Legado
possibly
Day,
do it
Forget about him.
with a one-day. Just because the women, if you put women in with the men, it's weird because then shouldn't a woman go number 1, 2 to make it fair? So I think they should just draft the women separately from the men and do it a 2-day event that way. Or
Ooh.
just the women get an hour, the men get 2.
Right.
And they do it on Raw.
Robbie says, so Ray, is he on the road to retirement now? He's in HOF? We thought, but no. Sophie says, so I'm guessing
1,
they're going to
2,
bring back general
3.
managers
Oh.
with Triple H announcing the draft.
We have a general manager that kind of runs it all, but we could see a double general manager.
Again.
I would assume that you're going to see loved ones drafted to the same company.
Yeah.
Also,
They have tried not to split them up that way, so.
so you got to think like whenever a guy that you know is married, so like Seth Rollins, if he goes to SmackDown, then Becky's going there.
Yeah. Robbie's yakking about, do you listening to 80s love songs go on?
Oh.
Robbie, that was Travis. I'm sorry, you're behind. Weirdo.
I am a man who will fight for your honor. I can't get there. Peter Cetera's on another level. Can't do it. I'll give it a try.
Oh my god, they need to hurry up and do whatever they're doing.
Why is it over?
Need to leave.
You've got 6 minutes.
But I have to use the bathroom.
You can hold things for 6 minutes. Blue Thunder Bomb.
I have been holding it for the last 20.
Hey, there's still a little bit of sunlight out there. I might be able to go work on my truck. Although I got to figure out what's the in and out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pickle's like, you guys, what? Didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about.
What is it?
So he says if they want to do the draft correctly, they could do it as its own pay-per-view. So they don't have to worry about timing like they would if they do it on a Raw or SmackDown.
I would do it like this. I'd do women first. I'd do it on a Monday, and the first hour goes to the women, second hour goes to the men, and third hour. And then it makes the whole show interesting. It would also be cool is if they did a lottery first. So you kind of had an idea of who got to pick first.
Oh, I see
Like,
what you're
so
saying.
SmackDown gets the first pick with the women, but Raw gets the first pick with the men.
Oh.
And are they going to put the Bloodline on Raw? That would, I mean, it changes the value of Raw.
I don't know if they will because I think that being it on Fox and stuff, if they still have weird stipulations with that.
It's over. Their contract's up at the end of this year. And so they're bidding this summer. So if they want to bid, they can bid on Raw. They can get Raw next year. You know, if they want that athlete, that's what the brand they're bidding on.
Right.
Oh, shit! The Samoan spike. Into the ropes. Big kick. Almost like a thrust kick, but it was a drop kick. That's it, guys. It's over. Jey Uso wins it clean.
Did he? He didn't win it clear.
He didn't know there was cheating.
Liar face.
Oh, I put actually Solo there. That's funny.
Whoops. Well, he did win it, technically.
His name's not... Oh, it's Jay. I'm like, his name's not Ray. I couldn't think of his name. Jey Uso.
People's like, you guys, it's great. I appreciate your channel. And even though we don't see eye to eye on movies, music, and wrestling, I'm just saying it's beautiful to have a discussion without being aggro and oversensitive.
Yeah, that's not happening here.
Okay, so the thing of it is that Travis and I, like, hash this stuff out all the time because we have way different, likes of music and so many different things that you have to be open to what other people like.
You guys keep watching this. This is what happened with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Look at Solo.
Yeah. Solo's just taking it to him. Like, just beating him up.
And there's plenty of time. We still got 2 minutes. There.
Oh, no more
We
spikes.
saw that coming, guys. Solo don't want none of Jay.
Robbie's like, do you love a bit of George Michael, Careless Whisper, and Never Dance Again? I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Such a good song.
Don't even know. Sophie says, remember the year John Cena got drafted twice in one night? Devontae says, those things were me. I don't know why I just found them. Hey, that's pretty cool, Devontae. Thanks. That was cool. I was like, what is that? Mushmallow says, Brock Lesnar should be babyface again.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
So he didn't want him... Oh, fuck.
Why on earth and how on earth and...
What the fuck? This is dumb.
This has got to be the dumbest thing they've ever done right here. This is
worse than...
So we know
Miss
that the
Spaghetti.
Bloodline makes stars. Are they looking to make him a star? Solo needs to just hit him with the damn spike and be over with.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Oh, Solo beats him if they go one-on-one, which they will Monday or Friday.
Did they have something going on before he got popped for cocaine and shit then?
No.
Maybe that's why?
No.
I don't know. That's really weird. Anyways, Riddle supposedly came down, and
supposedly.
that's who was the person that helped him. I don't know what's happening. Sophie says it must be hard to please two TV companies to set up this draft. Pico says,
Don't have to now.
Pico says, Billie Jean, that's the best 80s song of all time.
That's unarguable.
Travis agrees with you, because that's one of his songs he
I
really
don't
likes.
think you can argue that.
That it's one of the best?
That it's the pinnacle.
The best 80s song of all
It
time?
has the best bass riff in it, and it's Michael Jackson.
Does it
singing.
have a guitar solo, though? No.
What does that have to do with the price? of
That's
tea?
80 songs. Chris says, how did Jay Uso will with a drop kick? He won with a drop kick because Solo Sikoa gave, what's-his-face, Sammy, the spike, like, almost twice. Piccolo says, oh, and don't forget Rock Me Amadeus. That was a jam.
That song's so crazy.
It would be interesting if UFC does somehow get involved with the WWE draft. They won't.
They're not.
They're not going to. Sophie, stop trying to make it happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to be separate.
You're just
it's two
letting
separate
yourself
things.
down.
Sports, UFC is a major fucking I'm going to beat you up sport, and WWE is wrestling entertainment. Get it through your heads. Robbie
you
says,
might see UFC people in the audience at WWE events, and you might see, which you already do, WWE people in the audience at UFC events.
Yeah.
That
could happen. But you're not going to have them draft side by side. And yeah, there might be UFC guys that
At
retire that might go into wrestling and be on WrestleMania and stuff like that. You know, you might see them like you have Snoop Dogg on WrestleMania, right? You might have a major UFC guy on a WrestleMania at some point or be a host or something. I mean, those things can happen, but those things could happen without the fucking merger. Without fucking being under the same brand.
Fact.
Doesn't matter.
Fact.
Ravi says, Dee, did you have anything special for dinner? I didn't eat dinner, Ravi.
She's about to.
Bronson says, how are you guys this evening? Good, Bronson. We're just ending the night with SmackDown. I don't know if you got to watch the whole show, but the last segment was Jay Uso and Sammy. They beat him up. Solo Sikoa beat him up, and then Riddle came out and saved, what's-his-face? Sammy. Anyways, Piccolo says, wait, what's happening? Riddle came down to save Sammy. Sophie's like, I feel like the draft will give us NXT call-ups or debuts. Nope. Piccolo says, wait, Riddle is part of the Bloodline? No.
No.
He helped Sammy. Beat It has a guitar solo, but that's apples and oranges. Sophie says, Matt Riddle makes sense since Solo did injure him in storyline all those months ago. Okay. Ravi says, Jermaine Jackson, you don't have to take your clothes off is a great 80s tune. And Chris says, Jonah, a.k.a. Bronson Reed in the Bloodline? No. David Wilmo's Ghost in the chat says, we don't have to take our clothes off was by Jermaine Stewart. And Doyle Star in the chat says, SmackDown, WWE for life. Piccolo says, oh my, it's over. Well, good night, y'all, in chat. Have a happy Easter. Take care. And I was like, David, yes, it was. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. If you're just new into the chat, thanks for joining us at the end.
Turn your notifications on.
Yeah,
we'll
subscribe,
be here Monday,
thumbs up.
guys, for Raw.
Yeah.
And so hang out with us, and maybe we'll get a little bit more information over the weekend on a
draft.
Draft.
So they did announce, Triple H announcement tonight, if you guys really want to know, was a draft. They are going to do a WWE draft in the coming weeks, is what he said. So there it is. All right, everybody who is just joining us and who were with us all night, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Again, that's the end of SmackDown. We'll be back again on Monday for Raw. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter if you celebrate.
Thanks for watching Wrestling Gab. Bye-bye.
Bye.